Hey guys, this is Coach Marco Robert. Thank you so much for checking my channel. Today, guys, I want to talk to you about something that's very important, and it is how to deal with difficult employees. Hello, my friend. Today, I want to go in depth into this topic of how to deal with difficult employees. This is something that pretty much every business owner I've ever worked with has had an issue with at one point or another, right? And here's the first and most important thing that you need to understand. There's not just one type of difficult employees. There's two types of difficult employees. So the first thing that you need to assess if you have a difficult employee is their performance. Do you have a difficult employee that is a high performer, or do you have a difficult employee who's a bottom performer? Most important thing. See, basically what I'm trying to say is this. You need to remove your emotions. You need to remove your emotions and take a cold shower and make a rational decision. If you are dealing with a difficult employee, a bad employee, who also has a bad performance, then your best option is basically to get rid of them. Okay? And let me explain that to you. An employee who has a bad attitude and also bad performance is usually someone that I don't even want you to deal with. See, they're usually people who have emotional issues, emotional problems, and the more you try to help them, the more you get attracted by that vacuum of negative energy that they bring into your life. And you know what I'm talking about if you've had one of those employees. So to be fair, if I have one of those employees, I'll first take full responsibility for everything for having hired them. It's my fault. I should have figured this out before. Now, I'm usually going to give them one chance, and I'm going to move them into a new department. I'm going to think, hey, you know what? Maybe the reason why this person has a bad attitude and bad performance is because, they're simply not suited for the job that I hired them for. So I'm going to give them one chance. And one chance for about a week, maybe 2 weeks max. In fact, I just dealt with one of my employees like that. Somebody that I hired that came in, with the right resume. I interviewed him. He looked really good on paper. I tasked him to do something for me. He did an okay job. Then I tasked him again, and he did a really bad job. And I honestly should have gotten rid of him right there. But, I said, okay, I'll give the guy a chance. So I gave him a chance, and he did a bad job again. And, now I should have really gotten rid of him. But you know what? I'm kind of the guy who I decided to give him another chance. So I put him on a different task, and he messed up again. And I'm like, okay, dude. Bad attitude, bad performance. I said, sayonara, my friend. I just don't have time to deal with people like that. Okay? It is not your job to actually make people who don't want to work or people who are bad at what they're doing better. That's not your job. Okay? Psychologists have figured this out since the 1980s. In business. See, business is a capitalistic endeavor. Right? I don't care what you think. You can think about, you can love fascism, or you can love socialism or communism or any ism that you like. But if you own a business by definition is a capitalistic endeavor. So because it's a capitalistic endeavor, your job is not to make your employees happy. Your job is to make a profit. That's how you're going to make your employees happy. So if you have somebody there who's draining your energy and draining the performance of a department, you have to get rid of them. Like this, okay? Enough said. Now, there's a second type of employees that might have a bad attitude. And those are your top performing employees. It's not rare for a top performing employee to actually have a really bad attitude. And that is oftentimes because of the business owner. So you have a business owner who might be a micromanager, or you have a business owner who is stubborn, or you have a business owner who's trying to put everybody in the same box, in the same cage. And usually top performers do not like to be caged. Usually top performers have figured out a way to actually achieve results using a method that may not be the same method that everybody else. But then if you're trying to cage that person, they're going to have a really bad attitude. Really bad attitude. So what do you want to do? So those people, you want to deal differently. In fact, I had one of my clients just very recently who dealt with one of those clients, one of those employees. So this woman, actually my client, owns a couple hair salons. And one day she's in her office, but she came through the back door, so nobody in the salon knows that she's in the office. And while she's in the office, she overhears one of the hairdressers throw a tantrum about her, calling her names in front of clients, in front of the staff. And she had always suspected, because this guy was always being very rude to her, she had always suspected that he was like that. But now she catches him, red-handed. So she did not want to confront him immediately. Instead, she calls me and she said, Marco, I just overheard this guy. She said, I don't know what to do with this guy anymore. He's been rude to me. He's nasty. The other employees cannot stand him anymore. And now I'm finding out that he's actually insubordinate in front of my clients. So she said, I think I'm going to get rid of him. What do you think? And I said, depends. Is he a high performer or a low performer? She said, he's my number one hairdresser. He's the one that makes me the most amount of money. I'm like, ha. See, what's going on here is you have someone who feels they're not being heard. So I said, this is what you need to do. I want you to take him out for lunch. And then you sit him down and you say, listen, I heard what you said about me. And we need to have a conversation about this. And then you take him out for lunch. When you meet at the restaurant, you sit him down and you say this. You say, Charlie, I want you to understand that you are one of my best employees and I appreciate you tremendously for all the hard work that you're doing. I understand that you are doing everything you can to outperform yourself consistently. It's not lost on me. I see it and I appreciate you. In fact, perhaps I haven't said it before, and I'm sorry if I haven't, but I really, really appreciate you. They need to understand that. Number two, you say, but what happened yesterday is absolutely unacceptable. In fact, I had to sleep on it because I really almost walked out on you and fired you right there on the spot. This is called insubordination. It is unacceptable and it will never be tolerated in my shop. My job is to run a successful business. I cannot afford or allow to have anybody act the way that you acted. This is absolutely unacceptable. You understand? And then you go to them and you say, this is what we're going to do. And then you create a very clear action plan. And you say, this is what we're going to do moving forward. And then you finish by saying, I just want to reiterate something to you. I really appreciate you. And that's the reason why I'm not firing you right now. I care for you. I appreciate you. I think you're one of my best employees. But please understand that this behavior cannot be tolerated anymore. This is my first and last advice to you. Do not do this again. Do not test me again. I call it the sandwich. So you start with something very nice. Then in the middle you put, you put the nasty stuff, and then you finish with something very nice. Okay? Now, you can imagine that this was not easy for her. Okay? I mean, every ounce of her fiber wanted to get rid of that human being because she had heard him basically saying the most nasty things about her. She had been looking for that moment. She was so angry. She felt like this guy was taking away her baby. Do you understand? She was ready to fire him. So for her to actually confront that emotion inside of her, listen to me and take this guy out for lunch and have the conversation I'm telling you was one of the hardest things she's ever done. In fact, she called me back a couple of days later. She said, Marco, For the last 2 days, I slept 12 hours. I feel exhausted because she was basically going against her own natural tendency. But here's what happened. She saved the best employee, and now they have a great, cordial relationship, and everything is working out fine. Do you understand? Business is a capitalistic endeavor. If you have an employee that is not happy, an employee that's being difficult, ask yourself, is that because they're a poor performer and they're kind of a low standard human being? Then get rid of them. Or is it because maybe you haven't been treating them right? Maybe all you have to do is take the humble pill and then have a conversation with them. Now, their attitude cannot be tolerated anymore. But you also need to understand that maybe you're at fault. And if you start thinking like this, you're going to start attracting more and more and more of these super performers. And in fact, just one of these people sometimes will completely change the profitability of your business. That was certainly the case in her case. This one guy was probably responsible for 20% of her profit. And she was about to fire this guy. So do not fire your top performers. Take the humble pill. Have a clear conversation with them. Make sure that this is not going to be tolerated. And I swear to you, in most cases, you're going to fix it. Guys, this is Coach Marco Robert. You know, if you like these videos, it's basically information that I give you from the trenches. After 20 years of helping business owners around the world, I understand the hacks, the methods to actually help you thrive in your business. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit the little bell here to be notified every time I publish a new video. I try to publish videos as often as I can. And also leave me a comment. You know, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you have ideas about videos that you would like for me to create, let me know. This is Coach Marco Robert. See you next time.
Guys, this is Coach Marco Robert. Remember, if you keep on doing what you've always done, you're going to keep on getting what you've always gotten. Click on the next videos and continue your education.